Hello and welcome to the Sallie Tomato YouTube channel. I'm Kate, and here at Sallie Tomato we really enjoy bringing you video tutorials that both educate and inspire. Today we're going to be creating a monogrammed pouch. It's beginner friendly and it's a great project for gift giving. It can be made with a variety of woven fabrics and then incorporate non-wovens for the monogram applique. Included in the fully lined bag design is a zipper closure, monogram feature, optional quilting, and optional zipper pull tassel. This is a perfectly giftable bag. Whether you're making just one or a whole collection, they're great gifts for friends and family. All right, let's begin. First, print out the alphabet that's included in the pattern or use a letter style of your choice. With wrong sides up, place the paper template on the wrong side of the contrast fabric and trace around the template. You'll cut out the monogram following your traced lines. With right sides up, layer each fabric piece A on a fleece piece A, aligning the cut edges. Then baste the edges with an 1/8 inch seam allowance. Adding the fleece is optional, but it gives a nice body, especially if you're using a lighter woven quilting cotton or lighter fabric. You could certainly add quilting. That's another design option. I would recommend taking a look at our August 30th, 2023 Quilted Carry Hack blog post for some extra quilting tips. Now those quilting tips are for full leather, but they are great also for small projects such as this using woven fabrics. As you'll notice, I'm using a velveteen fabric, so you may wish to take a look at your fabric. If you're using a fabric with a texture or a nap, make sure the nap or the texture of the fabric is going in the direction you would like. This would also apply to directional printed fabrics. With right sides up, center your monogram up from the bottom edge on one fabric piece A. Add small pieces of basting tape to the underside of the monogram to hold it in place. You'll top stitch using an 1/8 inch seam allowance, or you could certainly add machine embroidery designs or embroidered monograms of your choice as well. With right sides together, center the zipper at the top edge of one main piece A. Align the zipper tape edge along the raw edge of piece A. Baste the zipper in place using an 1/8 inch seam allowance. Be careful to begin and end the seam 3/8 inch from the ends of the zipper. You don't want to stitch all the way to the end of the zipper. With right sides together, place one lining piece D over the main piece A with the zipper. You'll align the top and side edges and sandwich the zipper in between the layers. The lining is shorter than your main fabric. Sew together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, again beginning and ending the seam, this time a 1/4 inch from the ends of the zipper. Snip into the fabric seam allowances up to but not through the stitches, and be careful to not cut into the zipper tape. Press the lining away from the main piece A and the zipper. This is optional. You could certainly choose on the right side of the lining to top stitch an 1/8 inch from the seam. That's securing the seam allowance to the lining, but that is optional. Begin and end your top stitching 3/8 inch in from the zipper ends. You're going to repeat the steps to attach the remaining piece A and D to to the opposite edge of the zipper. Now this zipper is short, but position your zipper pull about halfway so you have just a little opening. With main fabric's right sides together, align the bottom and side edges. Sew the main fabrics together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance along the sides and bottom edge. You may find using a zipper foot is very helpful for sewing very close to those zipper ends. Gently move the lining seam allowance out of the way. You're going to repeat this step for the lining. Begin with a 1/4 inch seam allowance at the top edge and then gradually increase your seam allowance to a 1/2 inch near the bottom. Leave about a 3 to 4 inch opening unsewn along the bottom edge of the lining for turning the pouch later. As you approach the top of the lining, gradually decrease the seam to a 1/4 inch width. Finger press the seam allowances open. It helps to reach into the lining and open the zipper just a little bit more to get your fingers into the bag. At one end of the zipper, center the side seams over the zipper coil and align the raw edges. You should be able to see the end of the zipper coil just peeking through, so you know then that you'll secure the zipper in this next seam. You're now going to sew across the zipper end with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, securing all the layers. And you'll repeat this for the opposite end of the zipper. As you can see, to shape this top corner where the lining and the main fabric meet, we're going to form a little corner, which seems odd, but open up just by folding and rolling the bag and the lining. Here you can see I'm finger pressing the lining seam. I'm going to do the same with the main fabric seam. Now my velveteen fabric doesn't press very well, but I'm going to do the best that I can. And then we're going to form kind of a triangle. The folds that are angled are the bag. I'm keeping the center or the side seam becomes my center seam, both on the lining, as you can see here. And I'm just going to roll the lining fabrics at an angle, and the seam on the velveteen, also that side seam becomes my center seam. And let's see if we can show this at a little bit closer view. Here is the bag or velveteen seam. That's the side seam. It becomes the center, and underneath you can see the lining, and I have folded edges, a fold of the lining and a fold of the main. What you see is the fleece here. Now we're going to go to the sewing machine and stitch across. I have the velveteen side down, the lining side up. It doesn't matter which. You can have your main fabric side up and the lining down, as long as you're going straight across, that those aligned side seams, and you should catch the zipper end right in between. Angle trim the bottom corners to reduce the bulk. Just be careful to not cut into the seam stitches. Trim the lining seam allowance to 1/4 inch wide, but don't trim the seam allowance at the opening. It's easier to work with if that opening area has the wider seam allowance. Turn the pouch right side out by pushing the fabric through the opening in the lining. Gently shape the corners. And then top stitch the opening in the lining closed with an 1/8 inch seam allowance. Smooth the lining down inside the pouch, folding the top zipper edge of the main fabric into the pouch. You're creating a recessed zipper. If you'd like, you can press the top fold edges. I'm going to avoid pressing my velveteen, so I'm just going to finger press that top fold edge. If you'd like, you certainly could stitch in the well or the ditch of the side seams to help hold the recessed zipper in place. That's holding that top inside fold. You don't need to do this. I'm not going to try to top stitch because my velveteen is a little thicker. It's just an option if you'd like to try. The little pouch that I've created in this tutorial features a really fun jingle bell zipper pull. So this is a great project for a variety of novelty zipper pulls. I'm going to show you one version of a tassel for a tassel cap zipper pull. We do have another version detailed in the blog that features the instructions for this project. But I'll just show you real quickly adding the tassel to the tassel cap zipper pull. On the wrong side of piece B, that's the tassel, mark a horizontal line 1/2 inch down from the top edge. Then using a rotary cutter or scissors, cut vertical lines spaced 1/4 inch apart, or an 1/8 inch apart if you prefer finer fringe, up to that 1/2 inch mark. With the tassel piece B wrong side up, wrap and glue the tassel to itself along that top edge, wrapping as tightly as possible. And then insert the tassel into your tassel cap zipper pull, install the screw, and you have a lovely addition to your monogrammed pouch. I hope you enjoyed learning how to create this one-of-a-kind pouch. Let us know in the comments if you have any further questions or suggestions. Please share and show off your photos using the hashtag SallieTomato on social media. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. That way you won't miss out on any future tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll check out our website for our entire pattern line for more creative projects. Until next time, have a great making day.